Hi everyone, it's your favourite Atomic Blonde here, back with another kind of Atomic Pop Chat reviews. So how's everybody doing? So yeah, as I've been saying, there obviously there's a lot of new shows dropping right now, and trying to stay on top of them all is staying, a bit of a feat. So we've got some shows wrapping up, so say new shows starting. Which is great because, with the strike, etc., we were kind of having a bit of a tumbleweed, like, what are we going to talk about? But thankfully, we have stuff to talk about. So today I'm going to be reviewing Cross and Landman. So yes, indeed. So first things first, let's talk about Cross. So new on Amazon. This is based on a character in the Lee Patterson books. I haven't read them, but obviously the character in those books is a Black police officer. So there's no race swapping or anything going on here, as far as I understand it. So I'm only halfway through so far, 4 episodes in. I think it's a total of 8, and it's a bit of a mixed bag. I think the storyline itself is good. So also, just to clarify, apparently this is like a standalone. This isn't based on, they've taken the characters in the books, but this isn't based on any one specific book. It's a standalone story that's been written by Ben Watkins. He is a writer producer. He has previously written things like Hand of God and Burn Notice, and he also produced those as well, I believe. So yeah, so the storyline itself is that there's been a murder. A former sort of drug addict, someone, with the wrong crowd, sort of gangs, etc. He goes missing and then he's found dead. And the police are very dismissive of it, saying he's just another drug runner. It's probably just a gang thing. Why are we really getting involved? You'll see that basically he's been abducted by a serial killer, and it's basically as this unfolds and other people go missing, and Cross is sort of fighting to investigate this. It's very sort of race relations as well. So I think the story itself is quite interesting. I have to say, the serial killer, I thought, was really obvious who it is. I mean, they might as well just stood there like twirling their moustache. You watch the, I think it's the first episode, and you just go, well, it's clearly them, right? So seemed pretty darn obvious to me. They do reveal it to the audience quite quickly who the serial killer is, but the sort of motive behind it all, and there seems to be some sort of organization involved. We don't really understand all of that yet, certainly halfway through. Good solid cast. Acting is pretty decent too. I think what some people won't like about this, or will detract for them, I think, more than don't like, is it does lean quite heavily into racism and the police force and defund the police, and all policemen are bad, all policemen are racist kind of thing. Obviously, Cross is a Black policeman. They do use the N word in this, and they do use the racial slur C word, which I was quite taken aback by, because you really don't see that too much in TV shows anymore. When obviously only Black people can say it, but they you don't really hear that much anymore. So, and it was obviously the context that it was used in. It was like, oof, wow, that's not cool. No great shocker. The Cross was being called the racial slur C word. Not a shocker, really. by a black person. So I think some people just won't enjoy this aspect. And again, I've not read the Lee Patterson books. I don't know if they lean into it or it's not really touched on. I really don't know. I can't comment. And I think it will switch some people off. I think you kind of just, I mean, it's not overtaking the story. I think it does add a layer to the dynamic between Cross and his girlfriend. Right at the start of the first episode, we see that Cross's wife is murdered and they've never found who did it. And this also plays into the story. This element, I believe, is taken from the books, but it's like I think quite a long journey into the books as to how all that all unfolds and who kills his wife and why and all this kind of thing. And they have changed how she was killed from the books. So you've got a number of things going on. So you've got the whole story with his wife was murdered. Someone's breaking into his house and basically is stalking him, who seems to be the person that did kill his wife. You kind of got that storyline running. You've then got the storyline running of him obviously trying to get over his wife. He's got two young children. I think it's his mother. I'm not sure if it's his mother or his wife's mother, but and you know, how do they move forward? And he's got a girlfriend. The girlfriend is sort of defund the police, ironically. So there's a bit of tension and clashing between her friends and him and his friends and his best friends, his partner on the force. So you kind of got this sort of racial tension piece sort of brewing, and then the overarching serial killer piece. So there's a number of things sort of going on. I think they've done it quite well. Not like in terms of it's easy to follow. You're not like, it's not jumping around all over the place. It is flowing okay. So yeah, I'm quite enjoying it. Some of it feels a little bit far-fetched and saying I think some people will just completely switch off because of the racial parts of the story, which would be a shame, because under all of that there is actually some really good acting and quite a solid story going on. Have to see whether it nails the landing. Some of the episodes do feel quite long. But I think again, when you're, you know, these sort of, the fact they've kind of got these sort of subplots going on, there's quite a lot of explaining to do. But so far the pacing's okay. I'm still with it. I want to know how it ends. There's enough intrigue there to go. What's the motive behind this serial killer? So like put this book together. And what is this organization? Because they have this tattoo. So I kind of figure all that out, and obviously who killed his wife and why did they kill his wife. So I think it's quite a good solid start so far. I will come back and let you know once I've completed the show whether it's worth completing. I really hope it sticks the landing. But yeah, so far not as good, definitely for me, as like Terminal List or Reacher. But they are more action driven. But it's definitely watchable. A little bit eye rolling in places. I feel, you know, it's a bit like it's a bit over labored, but a solid story. So check it out. Have you watched the whole thing? Do you agree with my comments? If not, or you do, as always, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of Cross. The whole thing is dropped on Amazon. It's not weekly. It's all sitting there ready to be watched. So go check it out. I have to say the guy that plays Cross is Aldous Hodge. He's very solid in the role. I actually really like him in the role. You may know he's the voice of Jon Stewart in the kind of Justice League and Green Lantern cartoons, and he was in a film called Parallel, which I think is also on Prime. Which is worth a watch. Again, it's really obvious who the culprit is, but it's a little bit almost sort of time travel-y, a little, not sort of. He kind of gets this phone call from the past, and it's all about trying to save his daughter before she's killed. So quite an interesting watch. So yeah, go check that one out as well. Just an aside. Okay, moving on. Landman. So obviously this is the latest one from Taylor Sheridan. For anybody who's lived under a rock, Taylor Sheridan is a writer of Yellowstone and the kind of prequels to that. He also is a writer and producer on the Tulsa King. I've just finished season 2 of Tulsa King. Absolutely smashed it. Nailed the landing. Hasn't dipped in quality for me. Absolutely love season 2. Boy, do we end on a cliffhanger. I read today that Stallone has almost finished contract negotiations for seasons 3 and 4. So fingers crossed on that one. Absolutely big recommendation. Go check out Tulsa King. Again, if you like The Penguin, you'll love Tulsa King. It's gangsters, it's mobs, it's Stallone. Okay, so what is there not to like? So Landman, I think, is much more in the vein of Yellowstone. I'll be honest, I couldn't get into Yellowstone, but I'm not really into westerns and things like that. So I just couldn't get into it at all. Just wasn't for me. So I wasn't sure where I'd sit with this one. So this is so Billy Bob Thornton is a landman. He's the guy that kind of negotiates the leases and things for oil fields. He's sort of like the middleman. So he looks after crews, and he basically introduced him. He's he's in debt. He's divorced. He's an alcoholic. So everything going for him. But Billy Bob Thornton is superb in this role. He's so good. His ex-wife is played by Ali Larter, who most people would know from Heroes. She's great in this. So you can clearly tell that, you know, they're divorced. She's got a new partner, but you can tell they still basically love each other. She's like flirting with him and this and the other thing, but for whatever reason, the marriage just didn't work. They've got 2 kids. And the son wants to become a landman, even though his dad's tried to sort of put him off, saying that this isn't a fun job, this isn't an easy job. And the daughter's still in school. So also, they haven't been in it yet, but we've also got John Hamm, who's briefly in it. He's kind of the oil company owner, and him and Billy Bob used to be best friends. Things are a bit fractious there now, and I think Demi Moore plays his wife, but we haven't been introduced to her yet. But a really solid cast, as you'd expect. And from a Taylor Sheridan, the writing's on point. The dialogue's good. I mean, already you've got a really good feel for who the characters are, what their motivations are, what's the dynamic that's going on. the sort of shitstorm that Billy Bob's life is. So I think, yeah, so far it's quite intriguing. I'm having a few issues with pacing. It's a little bit ploddy for me, but overall I did enjoy the 2 episodes. Again, with Taylor Sheridan, there's always some humor in there, and there's also some like cringe. So there's a point where his daughter's so his ex-wife is saying, right, you've got to look after the daughter, I'm off to Tahoe with a boyfriend or something for the weekend. And he's like, oh, she's 17, can't she, like, you know, be on her own? And then the mother shows him a picture of the sort of quarterback boyfriend, and he's like, send her down here. And there's a scene where basically he's sort of asking his daughter, like, you know, are you guys intimate? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, you know, are you being careful? And she says, oh, you know, we've got a rule. And he's like, I'm going to regret asking this. What is this rule? And she basically says that like he can't come inside her, but he can come anywhere on her. And the look on Billy Bob Thornton's face is hilarious. You could just see like the dad's soul is just like crushed, and he's just like, I'm gonna go get a drink, and just sort of walks off. But there's some really bits like that which are really quite funny. There's also some really dramatic bits. In the first episode, there's an explosion, and you know, it shows how dangerous working on these oil fields are. And some people just like, and there's quite a well-known actor who just gets taken out, and I really wasn't expecting it. It was like, I just went, oh my god, this thing explodes. So far, I'm definitely enjoying it enough to watch the next episode. But you know, it's really sort of not clear where the story's going yet, because not all the cast has been introduced. It is a little bit ploddy for me. I think it could do with being a little bit tighter, like Tulsa King. But so far, so good. 2 episodes have dropped. It's on Paramount Plus. And then I believe we'll be just getting 1 episode weekly thereafter. So again, I'm going to stick with it for now, give it another 2 or 3 episodes, see where we land. So for me, not perfect, but enough has happened to sort of hook me in and sort of see where it goes. But the relationship between Billy Bob Thornton and Ali Larter is brilliant. Love that dynamic, and he's just fabulous in it. So at the moment, really, he's sort of character in that is kind of what's hooked me in. So I really want to see where this goes. We'll update you as we go through it, or certainly when it ends, as to what I think and whether I'll be there for. Well, will it get a season 2? Is it good enough? And will I be there for it? So again, love to know your thoughts. Are you a Taylor Sheridan fan? Are you a bit Taylor Sheridan out, and Paramount needs to get some other talent and some other styles of shows? Are we getting a bit too much the same? Seems to be working out for them, making the money. Because let's face it, they are in a world of pain, Paramount, right now. And still just making rubbish Star Trek. So what can I say? But love to know your thoughts as always. As I said, please do leave me comments on both shows. What do you think? As always, any recommendations that you want me to go watch, review, let you know, come back. And as always, you know what's coming. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really, really helps. And so any interactions really help. And great to see some new members to the channel. Welcome. I really appreciate your support. So yeah, that's it. So nice quick snippets. This is what I think so far. Both shows, I'll be back once I've finished them and let you know whether they stuck the landing. So you have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.